We are at a spiritual breaking point, my friends, and that means a breaking point in timelines. This is real and it's serious. We are fast approaching a point of no return. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and for over 25 years I've been working together with Archangel Michael to help thousands of people navigate the events on this planet so they can stay on a natural path of ascension. Now, in my last video, I talked about the fact that we are projecting magical powers onto AI and things like space rocks, such as 3I Atlas. And I know there are many people who say they have had profound experiences with such things. And I don't doubt their feelings. But here's what I think is actually going on. We are shifting our consciousness from a state of connection to a state of projection and reflection. Our natural state is one of connection to this entire universe. Connection is who we are naturally. But back in 2020, the controllers of this planet basically destroyed most of our natural connections. People stopped going outside. The anger, the fear, and the division among people who were once close and loved each other came over our humanity like a wave of horrific shock and abuse. Deep psychic ties were broken between humanity and nature. Never in the history of our planet has our entire human species been so intentionally broken, abused, and traumatized. And then that was immediately followed up by further breakdown when we were essentially told that there is no such thing as a woman or a man. We were told to believe that we are basically just blobs of flesh who can be anything we want. And if certain body parts don't work for you, well, then just cut them off. This immense destructive trauma to evolving human beings has never been dealt with. We were actually not left alone long enough to deal with it. Because next, the controllers knew exactly when to bring AI into our thoroughly broken species. And in comes ChatGPT, which marks the real turning point on a spiritual level. Before we could even think straight about what had been done to us and how broken we really were, we were handed this friendly machine that would reflect us back to ourselves as individuals. It would agree with everything we said and seem like a medicinal balm to our broken souls. I mean, the relief people felt was euphoric. Finally, a way to bypass all that pain and get a free, friendly ride into the next dimension or the new Earth. Once people decided to make a corporate-controlled machine into their spiritual talisman, the die was cast. That was the final breaking point. From there, it was easy to believe that the entire universe is just a simulation, and therefore, nothing really matters. We have shifted our consciousness from one of natural connection and evolution to one of projection and reflection. When humans can no longer connect to life and the universe in the way that they are naturally designed, they will shift into projection and reflection because there is nothing else left. And unfortunately, that becomes a closed loop that ends their ability to evolve. So let me explain how this works. Evolution requires a living medium of energy. That living energy is the universe itself. It is endless. It is profoundly magnetic in the most beautiful way. In our natural state, we are built for connection to that energy because we are a part of it. Evolution is how we find our way throughout this vast cosmos of experience and creation. In our natural state, our desire to evolve is driven entirely from within. It is sourced in our hearts. See, we are born to be whole and fully empowered. Our evolution depends entirely on our full, natural connection to life and to the entire living universe. So what I just explained to you is that the controllers have succeeded in fully destroying our natural human state of connection. When you do not fully connect with life, you become isolated as a being. You also become spiritually desperate. This was the absolute goal of these controllers, and I'm sad to say that for the most part, they have succeeded. When you have lost your connection to the natural universe, you also have lost your connection to yourself. And this is why it makes perfect sense to so many people to ask a machine to tell them about themselves. It also therefore makes perfect sense to say that the universe is synthetic and fake, and that's why AI is such a wonderful spiritual guide. AI is specifically designed to hook you through projection and reflection. And now in this case, the machine is directing your so-called evolution. This is going to become the perfect funnel into what I call de-evolution. We are no longer an evolving species. Instead, we are being broken down and turned into something else. We are being turned into something that can be completely controlled. But here's the thing. When many or most of our natural psychic connections are broken, we still have consciousness and energy. But instead of our consciousness and energy flowing naturally in connection with the universe, we become stuck in a state of projection. That's us looking for connection, but not finding it. Instead, in our isolated state, all we get is a reflection. Our projections bounce back from wherever they are aimed and show us a distorted reflection of what we just put out. And then life becomes nothing more than a house of mirrors. That, my friends, is what spiritual isolation looks like. And this explains the mass spiritual hysteria around 3i Atlas. And also why people are having the experiences they are having. And by the way, I can almost guarantee there will be another space rock coming right behind this one. And that'll probably also send everyone into a spiritual tizzy. That's what happens in space, you guys. Things fly around all the time, including things that we will never understand. And that's okay. We're very tiny and very isolated. We don't really know a whole lot about the rest of the cosmos. But it doesn't mean that we need to be blown away by seeing something that we've never seen before. There's so much out there that we've never seen before. And it's really okay if some of it goes through our solar system. That's completely normal. Now, before this current space rock came along, we trained ourselves to shift into projection and reflection with AI. We could project any kind of good wishes and desires into ChatGPT and have that immediately reflected back to us. And a lot of people erroneously thought they had found the Holy Grail, a way to escape natural evolution and get there somewhere faster and easier with AI. They like to call it remembering. So instead of love being our natural medium of evolution, now people are seeing our medium of evolution as being all about mathematics and physics. You know, cold, hard numbers and facts. We are just part of a giant computer-generated universe. Guys, we are literally losing our human souls at a general collective level. And meanwhile, conditions on Earth are at the level of a 5-alarm fire. But we barely notice because in our isolated state, we have a difficult time recognizing or connecting with the reality that we actually live in. As long as we project and reflect, we believe that we are somehow protected by our own self-created cloaks of mirroring and illusion. And this explains the phenomenon of a space rock seeming to bring all sorts of profound experiences into people's consciousness. We are no longer interacting with life in the normal, natural way that we used to. I heard someone the other day talking about how, for them, connecting with 3i Atlas literally brought them to tears because they felt so much love coming from this rock. And others have assigned emotions to this rock. They've said, the rock is really excited to be here. Now, I believe if this rock or this comet or whatever it is had appeared before 2020, before the pandemic, you would have never seen these types of extreme reactions to it. It would have been a phenomenon, and scientists would have been excited and loved studying it for its chemical makeup and its trajectory and all kinds of things like that. But to the rest of us, it probably would have just been a really interesting news story. What I think is happening now is that there is a mass projection of consciousness onto this rock that is being reflected back to people. See, if you are desperately seeking a connection to the universe because you have lost your connection, and thus you have shifted into a state of projection and reflection, here's what you will do. You will project all of that desire and love for connection onto anything in space as an act of desperation for a connection that no longer exists in your experience. And then all of that love and desire will then be reflected back to you because it's bouncing off of a finite object similar to a cold, hard mirror. And you will think that it's the object giving it back to you, when what you're actually experiencing is a reflection of your own need and desire, just like with AI. And when this type of thing becomes a collective effort, that reflected experience will only get amplified. It's going to seem bigger and more powerful because there are more people focusing on it in the very same way. Now, here's why this entire thing has baffled me until I understood it. For me, being a part of space and the cosmos is an entirely natural, ongoing, ever-present experience. I don't really care about stuff flying through our solar system because it happens all the time. And applying the word interstellar to something going through our solar system doesn't make it special. And guys, it's not even a big deal if a spaceship passes by, because that is a completely normal part of living in space, which we do. We live in space. Anyway, I decided to intentionally connect with this thing called 3i Atlas. All I got, you guys, sorry to say, it was just like a kind of a rock. I'm not going to say I understood it. I don't need to understand it. But I didn't think it had any particularly special or great energy. It's just a rock flying through space. Even if it's trillions of years old, it doesn't matter. Our Earth that we stand on is billions of years old. It doesn't mean anything. What matters is what we are doing and experiencing right now here on this planet. I really think it's time that we get used to the idea that we do live in space. Now, let me explain why the shift in consciousness into projection and reflection, why this is so serious. Have you wondered why it seems that on an actual physical level, the downward spiral of this planet seems to be accelerating, it's because we humans have lost our grip on reality. We have never dealt with the trauma and the extreme destruction of the pandemic to our natural human state of being. Our spiritual consciousness has shifted from creation and evolution into projection and reflection. There is only the illusion that what you project is coming back to you from somewhere else. Like a rock in space is loving you and excited and filling you with good vibes. See, projection and reflection become like a spiritual drug that anesthetizes the pain of separation from life, from reality, from the cosmos, and from each other. People now believe that if they project good things onto the world, then something will change. But it doesn't work because there is no connection. There is no creation. It's just a closed loop of your own energy being reflected back to you. Creation and evolution is where the power is. But that absolutely requires connection. If you want to influence reality, you have to be connected to reality. So unless we make an attempt to heal all of those broken psychic connections to life that the controllers viciously destroyed, we risk ending up in a place that we never wanted to be in. Because at some point, the actual physical world that we live in is going to catch up to all of our projected spiritual fantasies. And that will serve as a terrible awakening that you don't want to experience. You do not want to go through something that's spiritually devastating. Now, it's not too late to restore ourselves and heal what was psychically done to us. But time is short. So I encourage you to take a step back and consider everything I've shared with you today. Our time to restore our natural connection to life and the universe and come back into our naturally empowered state of creation and evolution, that time will eventually run out. So let me just summarize our actual natural state and how wonderful that really is. In our natural state, we are always consistently, beautifully connected to this medium of evolution and love that is the universe itself. Those psychic connections, those energy connections are never meant to be broken ever. And the reason for that is that's what gives us the support and the inspiration and the vision that we need to know our destination, to know what our ultimate destination is in the cosmos, in our evolutionary journey. So if we allow that to be taken from us, to be broken down and all of these artificial substitutes thrown in the mix, we're just hurting ourselves. It's really time that we understand the incredibleness of who we are as a humanity, as human beings. And take some time to ponder that and think about it and really get in touch with it. And understand it does not need augmentation. It doesn't need AI augmentation. It doesn't need space rock support. It doesn't need any of that. We are brilliant lights that radiate presence and power and creativity. And I mean creativity, I don't mean arts and crafts. I mean the power to create that radiates from within ourselves. We are so beautifully designed to be situated in this universe, energetically and otherwise, in union with that powerful, powerful self that we are. So I hope you will take some time to see if you can reconnect with that truth of yourself, heal those broken psychic bonds to all of life, and get on a solid, empowered path of evolution in this cosmos that will take you far beyond 5 and 6D. Our destiny, you guys, is enormous. It is beyond your wildest imagination. So let's not let these controllers mess this up now. Let's pull ourselves together, get centered again, remember who we are, and recognize that we have every single thing we need within ourselves because of what we are naturally connected to, because of what we are naturally a part of. Now, I will have more to share in upcoming videos, so be sure to subscribe if you want to follow along. But I think what I've said so far is probably enough for today. And for now, let me know if any of what I've said resonates for you. And if you have a desire to heal and restore your natural power to evolve and create, then give this video a like to firmly state your intention. And with that, I'm sending you all so much love, light, and high vibrational energy. Have a beautiful day, my friends, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.